So I want to go through some of the highlights of the conference. It was, for me, this was a great set of talks and keynotes, workshops. Everything just kind of came together, thanks to a great organizing committee and all the people that got involved along the way. So Jack Dongara, he was fantastic, like true pioneer in the field of high performance computing. And then, we learned about the DSA radio astronomy array and Meshtastic, and then of course, Dan Boshin's workshops were fantastic. So thank you, Dan, for providing those. Those are, professional level workshops that we were able to bring to GRCon. And then of course, Barry and Tom. So raise your hand, Tom. I see Barry's over here, running the AV. Tremendous effort. So Wednesday, yet another amazing lineup of talks. Shrihar with the keynote, really on demystifying science and how he's able to the RF innovations going on at Bell Labs. And we had Tripp and some other amazing talks. And Wednesday was really lighter in the ballroom because there was a lot of workshops going on. So we're always grateful for those that are willing to step up and run workshops. We had Neil's Edis RF knock workshop. We had Paul Comet's Basics of SDR, so that was a new workshop. And then we also had, Dan Boshin's and the amateur radio license exam. Do we have any stats on the exam? How many passes? How many? Okay, so five new licenses issued. So that's great. All right, and then Thursday, Phil Erickson from MIT Haystack Observatory giving fantastic overview, and I think there was some connections made in the community about things going on there that impact even other domains. So it's always good to hear people that aren't necessarily doing the same applications, but we learn things that are going on in other fields. And then of course, Neil Rogers put together a fantastic workshop on how he's using GNU Radio actively in his courses and how that engages students. And then 4.0, again, the ongoing theme. Ralph able to present that and how 4.0 is being developed and GNU Radio used at FAIR. That's always a great tie-in. And Mark with his two talks to related open source projects, SIGMF and IQ Engine. It's great to bring that info into this community. The Capture the Flag, so thank you Clayton for running that. That was a fantastic event this year. 111 players. And then Team Aerospace, you guys over here, rocked again this year. So yeah, thanks to Clayton and everyone who participated in that event. And then today, hot off the press is another fantastic keynote, Christina Collins from HamSci, representing, the thing I appreciated most about this talk that was bringing it back to the community and how the HamSci, the citizen science community, can collaborate with the GNU Radio community and some ideas for us to engage better in those areas. So thank you, Christina. And then also John Moss for bringing all the information about the Oak Ridge SNS particle accelerator and their high power RF equipment there was quite incredible. Our social events, again, one of the highlights of GNU Radio every year. We had on Tuesday night, there was a smaller event on the rooftop, one of the rooftops downtown that SETI was able to run. And then on Wednesday, at the top of the Sun Sphere, and then Thursday, the bowling event. So hope everyone had a great time. Heard good things, but always let us know what you think about these types of events. Now this event would definitely not happen without our sponsors. Our sponsors make this happen, so we are grateful. Yeah, round of applause. So I hope everyone got to interact in the expo hall. I think that ended up looking great. It was a full house, all the latest equipment and demos going on. Edis Research, NI, always top tier sponsor, and a new diamond sponsor this year, Aronia AG. So they had some fantastic demos and some incredible equipment that I hope everyone was able to check out. Our platinum sponsors, Oak Ridge, who were also very heavily involved in the organization of this conference, and Analog Devices, who enable a lot of the technology for all of these SDRs to work. Our gold sponsors, Epic, Peraton Labs, Deepwave Digital, and ARDC. And our silver sponsors, Redwire Technologies, Imona Timms, we have a new sponsor in the education space. DeepSig, B Cubed, Impulse Space, RFNM, and Any Signal. And then our patron sponsors, Coherent, Andro, Timtech, and Doug Forster. And anyone who is sponsored or interested in sponsoring next year, talk to us early. We always want to shape things in a way that it's mutually beneficial and that everyone can benefit from having our sponsors here. Also want to recognize our organizers for this year: Samantha, Barry, Toby, Seth, Andre, Clayton, Marcus, Neil, and Michael, and also everyone else that helped along the way. So there's lots of people that jump in here and there throughout the year and at the event. So we're grateful to all the volunteers that make this happen. We want future organizers. So if anyone's interested in being involved in this process, all levels of participation are welcome. So, you can be involved full throttle from the beginning if you like, or you can jump in and volunteer for very specific parts of this. So if you're interested in any way, let us know, GRCon, GNURadio.org, or talk to us. So GNU Radio does need you for GRCon25 if we want to make that a successful event. I wanted to make sure we recognize Michael West, who has been sitting out at the registration booth all week. He has tirelessly worked that booth, and it's a singular Michael this year. And one final specific recognition, I want to give special recognition to Barry Duggan. Barry, this event literally would not have happened with Barry. Barry picked up all the pieces. He put together the entire AV setup. He took care of so many details along the way. And we have a special gift for Barry. And I'd like to recognize Barry. And
I got into GNU Radio about 5 years ago. I've been an amateur since 1953, and I'm an electrical engineer, computer programmer. So the software-defined radio really appealed to me, and so I started learning about it and reading the documentation and reading the newsletter that said the documentation was terrible. Well, mostly it was because it had a lot of holes in it. They had made a transition from an earlier platform to the wiki we have now. And so I started working on it. I figured out that if I worked on the documentation, I could learn all the pieces of new radio. And one of the things I had to overcome was I had no education in DSP because I graduated college in 1961. DSP was not even thought of. So I had a pretty steep learning curve, but started working on block docs. I have done at least 150, I lost count, and probably closer to 200, and written about 15 tutorials, and got one more planned in the near future. It's adding error correction, forward error, my voice gives out pretty quick, forward error correction to my file transfer tutorial. And that's already been tested, and it's ready for me to write it up. So you can look forward to that. Oh, also an interesting note, I wrote an article for QST, the ham radio magazine, and it's been accepted, but it won't come out until around Christmas of 25 because they have this queue of articles they've already got ready to go. So anyway, it's been quite a deal, and I've worked as much as 12 hours a day for the last 6 months at least, just getting ready for this conference. So I'm going to back off a little and do some family time. But thank you for all your support.
So this closes out GNU Radio Conference 2024. So